Are you a current or future physician assistant wanting to learn more about finances? Then join me on this journey to become a PA the FI way. Hi, my name is Kat, and I'm a practicing certified physician assistant who will be your host. It took me 5 years after I started practicing medicine as a PA to thoroughly dive into my personal finances after I discovered the concept of financial independence. I want to use what I have learned to help you avoid some of the financial mistakes that I have made while sharing some of the financial wins that I have had along the way. Join me as we discuss financial strategies to guide you to becoming a physician assistant on the way to financial independence. Hello, and welcome back to the PA the FI Way podcast. I hope you all had a wonderful Labor Day weekend last week. I am guessing that several of you were able to have some extra time off of work, as I did. My husband and I were able to enjoy some excellent family time up north at the cabin with both members of my family as well as his family. So it was really nice and relaxing, and we tried to enjoy the weekend as it may very well be the last weekend that we spend up there before the weather turns too cold to enjoy the normal summer activities that we like to do up at the lake. However, since many of my listeners work in healthcare, I'm sure several of you also did have to work even though it was a holiday weekend. Unfortunately, COVID cases have been climbing still, and if you are like me, you can tell that the last year and a half has been pretty stressful with the pandemic. So if you did have to work this past weekend, thank you for all that you do. Before I dive into today's episode, which is going to be about Mega Backdoor Roths, I would first like to share with you an awesome resource that I created for free for you. It's called the PA the FI Way Beginner's Workbook. And this resource is an excellent resource to introduce the concept of financial independence to current and future PAs. It's everything that you need to know if you are just learning about financial independence or trying to become financially literate and don't know exactly where to start. So you can find this workbook if you visit my website, pathefiway.com, and then you will see a pop-up that will help you get signed up for the PA the FI Way Beginner's Workbook. Otherwise, if you would rather request a free copy of this workbook, you can send me an email to kat, K-A-T, at pathefiway.com, and I would email it to you directly. All right, let's dive into Mega Backdoor Roths. This episode was inspired by a conversation from one of my PA friends from PA school because we were talking about different options of saving and investing more for the future. As we previously had discussed in episodes 12 and 13, if you are able to get to the point of maxing out your HSA, your 401k, and a Roth IRA for the year, and you still have extra money to be able to invest and save for the future, then you may wonder where to go from there. For most, the next step likely would be opening a brokerage account to put more of your money into so that you can invest it over the years. The accounts that are recommended first for investing, such as an HSA, 401k, and Roth IRA, each have their own benefits in that they are tax advantaged in various ways. Once you start investing into a brokerage account, you don't get any tax benefits. However, they are a lot more flexible in that you can withdraw the money easily anytime that you want versus having to wait for different reasons to withdraw your money, such as a medical expense for an HSA or waiting until you're a certain age for your retirement accounts. Although, as we have discussed, there are ways around those retirement ages that are standard. Additionally, the investments in a brokerage account can have a more favorable long-term capital gains rate if you do hold the investments in there for at least a year. I have heard excellent things about Vanguard, Fidelity, and M1 Finance for brokerage accounts. But this episode is not about brokerage accounts, but rather it's about a special type of way to invest money that unfortunately is not available to everybody. However, I still would like to review the Mega Backdoor Roth in case you are one of the lucky few that it is available to. Now, a Mega Backdoor Roth should not be confused with a Backdoor Roth IRA, which was discussed in episode 13. If you recall, a Backdoor Roth IRA is a way for high income earners to be able to invest within an IRA even if their income is higher than the Roth IRA income limit. So if you are interested in learning more, go ahead and take a listen back to episode 13. So a Mega Backdoor Roth is a strategy that allows individuals to save up to an extra $38,500 for the year 2021, either in a Roth IRA account or a Roth 401k. So let's briefly review what the term Roth means in regards to a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k. And let's briefly review the difference between an IRA and a 401k. So if you recall, a 401k is a type of retirement account offered through your employer. On the other hand, an IRA is a type of individual retirement account that you personally would have to open and create yourself. It is not affiliated with your employer. Again, you can have both of these accounts, and you are highly encouraged to have both of these and to try to max them out year to year if you're able to. Keep in mind that if your income is above the threshold for a Roth IRA, you would have to use the Backdoor Roth IRA for the year. So Roth accounts, both Roth IRAs and Roth 401ks, are funded with post-tax dollars, meaning that you've already paid taxes on those dollars. Then the money goes into the account and you would invest it. Then the money is allowed to grow tax-free, and the withdrawals, or the time that you take the money out, is actually tax-free. So you only pay taxes on this money one time. And you can see why being able to fund more money into a Roth account, whether it's a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, can be appealing for people. So currently in 2021, the contribution limit of a Roth IRA is $6,000 if you're under the age of 50, or $7,000 over the age of 50, or $7,000 age 50 or older. So how can a Mega Backdoor Roth allow you to invest an extra $38,500 for the year? Well, it goes back to the fact that the yearly contribution limit for a 401k plan is actually currently $58,000 under the age of 50, or $64,500 if you're 50 or older in the year 2021. Now, many of you who have been investing and maxing out your 401k might say, whoa, wait. I thought I could only contribute $19,500 for the year. Well, that is exactly correct. Also, keep in mind that you often will get an employer match with your 401k. So the range and the amount of an employer match in your 401k varies drastically from company to company. But it is very unlikely that even an incredibly amazing employer match in a 401k would be enough with your max of $19,500 to max out the 401k at $58,000 if you're under the age of 50 for the year. If you do work at a company that has that amazing of an employer match, please let me know. So the Mega Backdoor Roth is a strategy to be able to try to make up that gap. Some in the financial independence community actually call it a tax loophole because they're not exactly sure how long this will last for, but it has been around for several years. Now, if you are still with me so far, you have probably had the thought that this sounds as though it may be a bit complicated, and I haven't really even dived into how to do this yet, because creating and executing a Mega Backdoor Roth can be somewhat complicated. it would be very reasonable to consult with a professional financial expert so that you are not left with unexpected large tax bills if you do it improperly, because that would be pretty devastating. So there are two main questions that would need to be answered to see if you can qualify for a Mega Backdoor Roth. And you would ask your HR department if they know the answers to these questions. They may or may not know, and they may defer the question to your 401k provider, which is the company that your 401k is through. The first question that you would ask them is, does your 401k plan offer after-tax contributions after you have maxed out your 401k contribution limit for the year? So again, this is above your $19,500 if you are under the age of 50, or an additional $6,500 above that limit if you are 50 years older. If the plan does allow for after-tax contributions, you can move on to the next question, which is, do they offer in-service withdrawals? An in-service withdrawal means that you're able to take money out of your 401k when you're still working with the company. Otherwise, you could also ask if they offer in-service distributions to a Roth IRA. Most employers actually do not allow you to withdraw money from your 401k while you are still employed with them, unless perhaps there is some type of hardship. So you definitely need to double check with them about this. So if you are able to make after-tax contributions in your 401k and that they allow in-service distributions to a Roth IRA or in-service withdrawals, then you can go ahead and decide to try to max out your Mega Backdoor Roth. Keep in mind that you can only contribute no more than $58,000 under the age of 50 between your $19,500 plus your employer match, or $64,500 with your $26,000 plus your employer match to max out your 401k for the year. Once you have done that math, then you request that amount to be taken out of the rest of your paychecks over the rest of the year with those after-tax contributions. Then you would roll that amount over into your Roth IRA that you have set up at the brokerage of your choice, or into a Roth 401k. And you want to do that step immediately before the investments start accruing, because otherwise you have to pay taxes on those investments if they just sit in your traditional 401k. Once the money has been transferred either into the Roth IRA or the Roth 401k, then as a reminder, that money would grow tax-free. So that's why you want to transfer that money as soon as possible, as soon as it hits that traditional 401k. Additionally, keep in mind that once the money hits the Roth account after you transferred it from your traditional 401k, you then often have to take the next step to elect to invest the money. This is especially true for IRAs. Otherwise, the money is just sitting there and not being invested and not growing with time. Episode 12 talks about why choosing index funds to invest in can be very beneficial for many investors. Woo, that was a lot of information to cover about a Mega Backdoor Roth as an option to be able to invest more money for your future so that you can hopefully achieve financial independence sooner if that's something that you are striving for. As previously mentioned, Mega Backdoor Roths are not offered for everybody. It's somewhat rare that you may qualify for a Mega Backdoor Roth, so definitely check with your HR department and or your 401k plan administrator to see if you even qualify. Additionally, you may want to consider seeking the help of a financial expert who is experienced with executing Mega Backdoor Roths to try to help you out if you don't feel like trying to attempt to do it on your own. I would also like to emphasize that investing via Mega Backdoor Roth is not critical to achieving financial independence. Again, if you feel like you have excess money to contribute above an HSA if you have one, your 401k, 457B, retirement account, and a Roth IRA account, then perhaps you instead open up a taxable brokerage account. and through there you can try to save and invest more for your future. I really hope that this episode prompted you to do the research to see if you qualify for a Mega Backdoor Roth if you have already maxed out your 401k for the year. If you do find out that you are eligible for using a Mega Backdoor Roth strategy to be able to invest more and are able to execute this strategy, I would love to hear from you. You could reach out to me by sending me a message on Instagram at PA the FI Way, or join the private Facebook group. If you go to the PA the FI Way Facebook page, you'll also see a tab for the group that you can join, and send me a DM on either social media to let me know that you have been able to execute this strategy. I think it would be really cool to hear from you. As a reminder, if perhaps you're taking a listen to this episode and it seemed a bit overwhelming when we were even talking about index funds, Roth IRAs, 401ks, and you don't exactly know where to even get started on your journey to financial independence, please check out my website at pathefyway.com and then use the pop-up to sign up to receive your free copy of the PA the FI Way Beginner's Workbook to get started. As always, I would love to hear what you have enjoyed about the podcast. Feel free to leave a review about those things that you've enjoyed and subscribe for future episodes. I have really enjoyed hosting all the guests that I've had on the podcast so far, and I'm really excited for some upcoming guests as well. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. As always, thank you so much for tuning in today, and have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you decide to continue to join me along this journey of becoming a PA the FI Way. Please take a moment to press the subscribe button on the platform that you are listening to this on, but more importantly, consider sharing with another current or future PA that could benefit from the information that we reviewed in this episode. Take care and have a great rest of your day. Until next time.